I'm not saying it is.
I think it is. We're gonna go with it is.
Well, guess what else was up there?
Another moraine.
Another recession.
Yeah, the ice had to come over this whole thing, right? Like, so when there's a large bedrock high in the valley, right? The glacier's got to come over it, and then it's dropping down, digging out this big depression to make the kettle, right? And then sort of coming back out here. So the question is, and I don't have the answer, is as we're walking up this valley, do you think the ice was just in this little valley here, or did it get high enough to override that high in the valley here?
Is that similar as a hanging valley?
Not quite. No, because we're in the valley itself.
We're in the actual valley.
We are in the actual valley. Yeah.
Well,
Farther up, there might be more valleys coming in.
Right.
That could be even smaller and be hanging valleys, but we're pretty much, like, unlike those other two valleys that are way above the base level of the lake, this is really the main valley. We're in the main valley.
so
Do you see a trim line up there anywhere? Like, is there any point along that rock that looks different? Like one was scoured and one wasn't?
kind of like second one up looks kind of red compared to.
A little bit reddish in that one. What about smoother? Is it looking smoother? Not really. I mean, maybe got some binoculars on him? Does everyone see the little hash marks on your map on the GeoPDF
No.
showing a depression on field move or the Venza map? Yes, no, maybe?
Working on it. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, zoom in and you should see some little hash marks pointing inward in a little circle.
Yep.
See that on the map? So we are on a topographic feature that shows up. It's big enough to show up, and this is, the question is, right, is how high was the ice? Like, clearly it had to be higher than the lateral moraine to make the lateral moraine. And when we climb up there, we'll look over and see roughly where we think it would have scraped the other side. Remember, when ice is coming down through a valley and it's got to go around a bend, it's a solid, not like a river. And so it's going to have to scour on one side. It's not going to be able to deposit until there's something on the other side which opens up a little bit. So the ice is flowing and it has to come around this whole feature, wrap down in this valley. So it's depositing most of the till out here. Or on this side, there's no room for that stuff to come out, okay? So it's sort of like, almost like a banked slalom course, right? If you've ever seen like a Olympics doing bank slalom, okay, right? It piles up on the outer edge of the turn. So here's our like bank slalom on this side. The ice is still even. I'm not saying the ice is getting uneven, but like it's depositing here where it's open and not so much over here. So to go over there and figure that out, what would we be looking for to confirm that there's till over there versus, say, a rock fall? What would we be looking for? Right, yep, the matrix, so the full from fine to coarse. What else would we look for? Yeah, sub-rounded to subangular. We might be looking for facets, so faceted boulders, they start to look like dice almost, because they've been stuck in the ice and they get ground down on one surface, and then they might turn a little bit and then get ground down again. So we're gonna look for faceted boulders. Big difference in this valley compared to, say, Birch Creek is this thing has not traveled far from the source, right? The rocks are falling down, they're super blocky, and they fall off these cliffs, and then they're getting transported So there's not a lot of time. This isn't like a huge glacial valley in Alaska where things have been in the ice for like 20, 30 miles. Those long, huge valley glaciers. They make really nice faceted boulders smoothed off. Here, it's hard to tell the difference between an angular block that fell down onto the ice versus something that was in the ice and getting smoothed off a little bit. So keep your eyes open for that. So we're gonna go up along the edge. We're gonna make a couple stops, so make sure you stop with me. And then we'll look for the next depression. And then from there, we're hoping to fly the drone.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll come back down this ATV trail. Oh, I just turned my neck and got it. Like, oh, don't record that.
Oh, way too
Electric
late.
Shock, like, oh, okay. Ready to move on?
Turn it up.